Elaine has secured a foreign passport for herself and her two children. Jennifer is planning an escape route via Italy. Jeffrey keeps enough cash on hand to buy last-minute plane tickets for his family. And Rick and Loren are applying for work visas in the land down under. American citizens are not flooding the exits, but increasingly Americans are thinking about leaving the country. Some are even acting on that idea. Google searches for terms like how to move out of America have spiked to levels not seen since November 2016, right after the presidential election, and last seen a decade ago during the Great Recession. So, let's take a look. Following the shootings in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio, people spoke of their desires to leave the country. These are not recent immigrants who feel threatened by nationalistic rhetoric. Reportedly, these are middle-class Americans with relative affluence who indicated they are discouraged by recent events and conditions. In the past, Canada has served as the go-to location for disillusioned Americans. However, because of difficulty with obtaining proper work visas in Canada, the discouraged are heading to other places around the globe. The reasons for leaving the country range from anger with the recent administration, the squeeze from economic conditions, the overburdened student debt, and the search for better health and medical care. Australia is a strong destination for many because of the universal health care and affordable private insurance, mandated parental leave, 4 weeks of vacation for all workers, and strong limits on guns. For others, the motivation is what they describe as an increasingly level of daily fear. One interviewee stated that, first, it was a shooting once a year, and then once every 6 months, then once a month, and now it's every day. He also stated that we don't even bat an eye as a country now. I would like to move somewhere where that isn't true and my kids don't have to be afraid. He went on to say that he is surprised to feel as he does because he knows that statistically the dangers to any one individual or family are quite small, and because he has never been one for strong political opinions. One family that relocated to Harlem, no, not to New York City, Harlem, the capital of the province of North Holland, apparently they are much happier. Under the local program, they are entitled to all the country of Netherlands benefits, including universal health care, a payment from the government of about €250 per child per quarter, and admission to a newcomer school that costs €3 per month and helps children learn Dutch and transition to their new country. But with the recent influx of migrants, I just wonder how long those programs will last. But back in the good old USA, during the Vietnam War, about 40,000 American men dodged the draft and fled to Canada. They left their families and friends with the hope of returning home without facing severe criminal penalties. However, it wasn't until over a decade later when an official pardon from President Jimmy Carter allowed them to return to U.S. soil. For some Americans, they are facing another problem, college debt. Some college graduates are facing what they feel is significant debt, and they are fleeing abroad in order to avoid paying off their loans. But like the draft dodgers of the 1960s, running away may result in even more trouble for their finances. Those struggling with student loan debt may consider leaving the country for many reasons. Perhaps another country offers brighter job prospects to increase income, or maybe the lower cost of living in a less developed nation could mean easier management of everyday expenses. But if escaping because of student debt is the real motivation to get out of Dodge, be aware that the consequences could be severe. For one, there's no statute of limitations on federal student loans, meaning the government has the ability to take debt deadbeats to court no matter when they return to the U.S. In the meantime, interest will continue to accrue, and your overdue payments will keep racking up. And even if you are laying on a beach in Rio, If you have a cosigner, they are on the hook. But here's the good news. Student debt is not alone. Presently, there's about $246 trillion of debt around the globe, and at least $15 trillion of that debt is now negative yielding. And recently, it was reported that Denmark's third largest bank is now offering borrowers mortgages at negative interest rates. In other words, the bank is effectively paying its customers to borrow money for a house purchase. Customers are now able to take out a 10-year fixed rate mortgage with an interest rate of negative 0.5%, meaning customers will pay back less than the amount they borrowed. We are now entering the dystopian future. So, as an example, if you buy a house for $1 million and pay off your mortgage in full in 10 years, you would pay back the bank only about $995,000 because no mortgage payments would be due between the purchase and payoff date. A borrower only has to repay the principal. However, a house buyer may have some bank fees linked to the borrowing, which means homeowners could still pay back a bit more than the original loan. Regardless, that's a heck of a deal. But before you move to Denmark, think about this. Why not let the people enjoy negative interest rates when they buy a car or for a college education? In fact, why even bother with taxes? By my calculations, and I may or may not do a video on this, we're only a few years away at most from reaching negative interest rates here in the U.S. So one last question to think about. Since our monetary system was not built for negative interest rates, what will that say about the economy and what will happen to the monetary system? And so for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you. But oh, by the way, I'm not going anywhere. So please join me in the next video. Thank you.